Continue now at the top of Daf Kuflam and Tesam and Bezim Meseches Shabbos. This is Shabbos Daf 139b. The Gemara just finished saying that on Yontiv you're not allowed to deal with a mace. So the Gemara is quoting a story from Rabbi Yassi, who says that there was a story where Yontiv fell out next to Shabbos. V'lo yadana imil foneh imil acharei. I don't know if Shabbos came before Yontiv or after Yontiv. Rashi says v'lo yadana imil foneh chol Yontiv be'erev Shabbos. Wasn't that Yontiv fell on erev Shabbos? Umeis bo bayom, and the mace died on the day of Yontiv. Umabnei shelo yuchlu l'sasik bo l'machar hitiru l'kover al yedei amim. Could be that since they couldn't deal with the mace the next day, which was Shabbos, therefore they allowed to use non-Jews to deal with the mace. Or maybe the story was it happened after, who mace b'Shabbos, maybe the person died on Shabbos, it's already been a whole day, and already the mace was decomposing, so on Yontiv, which fell right after Shabbos, they allowed it. He says, I don't know exactly what the story was, but in any case, they came in front of Rabbi Yochanan, he said to them, he said non-Jews could deal with the mace, so that directly contradicts what you're saying. And furthermore, Rava says, mace b'Yontiv Rishon yisasku bo amimin. If you have a mace on Yontiv Rishon, the non-Jews should deal with it. B'Yontiv Sheni, if it's already Yontiv Sheni yisasku bo Yisrael, even Jews can deal with it. Rashi says, mace b'Yontiv Rishon, mace shenishta kagon shemeis b'Shabbos ulamachar haya Yontiv, you're allowed to deal with this. And not only that, v'afilu b'Yontiv Sheni shel Rosh Hashanah, even on Yontiv Sheni of Rosh Hashanah, which is usually a little more strict than a regular Yontiv Sheni, Jews can deal with a mace. Masha'in kain bebeitza, that's not true when it comes to an egg. Rashi says this is referring to a beitza shenolda b'yontiv. Masha'in kain bebeitza, de'ein Rosh Hashanah shav yamim tovim shel goyis. Rosh Hashanah is not the same as other yamim tovim. Dilu Rosh Hashanah chamer yontiv sheni dilei v'nolda bazeh asura bazeh. The halacha is when it comes to nolad, if an egg is born on the first day, it's going to be asur on the next day. When it comes to Rosh Hashanah, that's not true on other yamim tovim. The point though is, regardless, the point is clearly there are ways where you're allowed to deal with a mace on yontiv, whether it be yontiv rishon or yontiv sheni. And the Gemara answers once again the same answer gave on the previous Amin Lefisha Einan B'nai Torah. The reason he didn't give this answer, the reason he didn't want to give them a leniency regarding a Meis on Yontiv, is because they weren't B'nai Torah and they were going to take that leniency too far. That at least was his concern. The Gemara now continues at the two dots. Amar Rav Avin bar Rav Huna, Amar Rav Chama bar Gurya. Rav Avin bar Rav Huna says in the name of Rav Chama bar Gurya, Misatef Adam Bekila Uvechas Chaseh, a person can wrap himself up in a canopy that you usually put over a bed with its straps. Shabbos, he can go out to Rosh Hashanah with this on Shabbos. It's considered like a garment. Ve'eno choshesh, he doesn't have to be concerned about carrying on Shabbos. Gemara asks, Ma'ishna mi de Rav Huna, what's the difference between this and Rav Huna's case? The Amar Rav Huna Amar Rav, because Rav Huna said in the name of Rav, Hayotze betalis she'ena mitzuyetzes kehilchasa b'Shabbos. If somebody goes out on Shabbos with a talis that does not have the tzitzis tied on properly, chayev chatas, he's chayev chatas for carrying the tzitzis. So there you have straps. Now, if they would have been proper tzitzis, that would be one thing. But these are not, they're not fulfilling the mitzvah, and they're not considered part of the garment, so you're carrying the tzitzis. That's considered a carrying, which is chayiv chatas, and the same is going to be true, or should be true, when it comes to the straps of this kilo. So why are they different? So the Gemara answers, tzitzis lagabe talis chashivi. When it comes to the tzitzis compared to the talis, they're considered important velo batli, and they're not nullified. The reason why, Rashi says, is because they're made from tchelas, they're expensive, and therefore you're carrying them. Hani lo chashivu batli, but when it comes to the straps that are part of the kilo, they're not chashiv at all, they're bottle, it's not as if they're like nothing, and therefore you're not chayiv for carrying them on Shabbos. Amar Rabba bar Rav Huna says, Marim Adam ala mishameres b'yontiv lislos bo rimonim v'tola bo shmorim. A person is allowed to take a mishameres, a strainer on yontiv, and he can hang it up as though he's really just using it to put in some pomegranates, but really he's going to put in sediment. He's really going to use it for straining the sediment from the wine. Amar Rav Ashi says, "V'hu the tola bo rimonim." It's only allowed if you actually put in the rimonim. You actually have to do that. You can't just say you're doing it for that purpose. You actually have to do it. Rashi over here explains. Marim adam ala mishameres b'yontiv. L'Rabbanan de'amri ein tolan es ha-mishameres b'yontiv. The Rabbanan said earlier that you're not allowed to set up the mishameres on yontiv. V'ukimna the time ala mishum oel ela mishum uvda dechol. We said before that the reason is not because it's a real ohel, it's just because it's an uvda dechol, it's an isur d'Rabbanan. Marim v'tolo sal etzorach rimonim delav uvdin dechol ninu. What you can do is set it up as though you want it for pomegranates, which would not be an uvda dechol. Umesanin bashmam, then you can use it to strain the sediment. Hoel v'nislas, once it's already up, Because we said that the halach is that on Yontif you are allowed to put into a mishameres in order to strain on Yontif. And then Rav Ashi comes along and says, you actually have to use it for the rimonim, because it's not clear otherwise that you're not doing it for the shmarim. So Rav Ashi is saying that even when you're using this harama, Rav Ashi v'udatala barimonim, you actually have to do the action of putting the rimonim. So the Gemara asks, what's the difference from the following brisa where you do a harama, you don't have to do an action to show in the following case. It says matilan, and it says in the brisa, matilan sheichor b'moed letzorech hamoed. You're allowed to brew beer on chol hamoed for the purpose of the yontif. However, shelo letzorech hamoed aser. If you're doing it, if you're brewing beer on chol hamoed not for the holiday, that's going to be aser. Echad sheicher tamarim v'echad sheicher sorim. There's no distinction. It doesn't matter whether it's beer made out of dates or beer made out of barley. Afal pi sheyesh lahan yash. Not only that, even if you have beer, if you have older beer, so you don't really need to do it for Yontif, marim v'shosam in achodesh. You're allowed to be marim, and you can drink from the new beer. There's no problem. You can say I'm doing it for Yontif, even if it wasn't really needed for Yontif. So over here, there's no action that you're doing to show that you're doing it for Yontif. You're just saying I'm doing it for Yontif. That's it. It's not like the case of Tala Barimonim. You don't have to put in pomegranates, so to speak. So why is it different? So the Gemara answers, Hasam lo mucha milsa, hacha mucha milsa. Over there, it's not clear. Here it is clear. Rashi here explains. Hasam lav mucha milsa de milsa di surahu. Over there, it's not clear that you're doing something asr in the brisa. To haroa omer letzorach hamoedhu. Person watches him brew the beer is going to think it's for the moed. There's nothing about his action that says he's doing it for the moed or not for the moed. Sheina kol yodin sheyesh lo min hayoshin. People don't know he has old beer. Hacha mucha milsa le'isr. But over here, if he puts up the strainer, the stam understanding is that he's doing something forbidden. The stam told him mishameres l'shmarim who told him. Most people who put up a mishameres, it's for straining the sediment. V'lo yav bar rimonim bereisha. If you don't put in the rimonim initially, latznia in order to store them, latznia bialma for mere storage. Ki yav bar shmarim mukach delach Italia. When he puts in the shmarim, it's going to be clear that's why he did it. So basically, what Rashi is saying is you don't need to do an action necessarily if what you're doing doesn't look usher. But if what you're doing looks usher, you're going to need to do an action to bring the harama to full fruition in order to make it look as though you're not doing something that's usher. Amrulei Rabbanan Ravashi. The Rabbanan said to Ravashi, Chazi Mar Haitzor B'mei Rabbanan. The master we saw a certain Talmud Chacham, V'Rav Huna Bar Chivyon Shemei, V'Amri Lo Rav Huna Bar Chilvon Shemei. His name was either Rav Huna Bar Chivyon or Rav Huna Bar Chilvon. Deshakel Brodatuma. Umanach bebarza dedana. He took a clove of garlic and he put it into a hole that was in a barrel. V'amar latznui kamachavin. And he said, "Oh, I'm just doing it to store this thing." And really, what he was doing was he was fixing up the barrel. Rashi says, "Umanach bebarza dedana makom sheyesh bo neked b'chavis." There was a hole in the barrel. Vayayin yotze knows no Shabbat Shabbos. He put it there on Shabbos. Listom in order to close it up. V'havikim masakin. It's like masakin. Umarim lechatchila. They're telling Rav he was being marim lechatchila. He's doing this kind of haram. What do you think about this? Another thing that he did was v'noim b'mavra. One time he went to sleep in a boat. V'yavar lahachgisa v'sayir piri, and he went over. He crossed the non-Jew was steering the boat across the river, and he went to the other side really in order to watch his fruits. And he said, "No, I'm really just going to go to sleep." But again, it was a harama. He wasn't going to sleep in that ship. He was going for the purpose of crossing the river. So Amar Lahu, so Rav Ashi said back to them, Harama Klamritz, you're talking about the fact that he did Harama b'derabanan. All the Haramas he's doing are in Isurei derabanan, v'tzor b'merabanan lo asi l'mevad l'chatchila. And since he's a Talmud Chacham, you don't need to worry that he's going to come to do it l'chatchila without the Harama, and therefore he's allowed to do it. Rashi here explains, Harama b'derabanan yochei garsinan, ha Harama lav b'isur d'oraisu, ela b'isur derabanan. It's only Isur derabanan. Dinami oven mamish below Harama derabanan hu da'avars. Even at most, this is an Isur D'Rabbanan. Hilkach Kevan, it's Tzor Me'Rabbanan, who lo achmiru aleh. Since he's a Tzor Me'Rabbanan, we're not strict on him. To lo asi l'mevet l'chatchil l'hedyu below haram alav or sham l'fnei hakol. He would never do it in front of everybody without haram. He knows the halacha, and therefore we're not strict regarding this particular individual. Gemara now continues with the Mishnah. Nosnin mayim al gabe shmorim b'shvil sheyitzolu. A person can pour water over sediment in order that it should clear out. That helps the wine strain away from the sediment. Umesaninin esayayin besudrin uvekfifa mitzris. You're also allowed to strain the wine with garments or with a wicker basket. V'nosnin beitza b'mesanina shalchardel. You can put an egg in a strainer, in a mustard strainer. We'll see Rashi a couple explanations. V'osin anumlin b'Shabbos. You can make anumlin b'Shabbos. Rabbi Yehuda, we'll see what that is as well in the Gemara. Rabbi Yehuda Omer, Rabbi Yehuda says, B'Shabbos b'kos. On Shabbos you can make the anumlin in a cup. B'Yontiv b'login. On Yontiv you can even do it in a larger jug. A login is larger than a kos. U'v'moed b'chavis. And if it's chol hamoed, you can even do it in a barrel. That's the largest amount. Rabbi Tzadok Omer hakol lefi ha'orach. And Rabbi Tzadok says it all goes according to the guests. So Rashi here explains, just going on the case of the egg, v'nosnin beitza b'mesanenes shahachardol nosen ba lehistanin. According to the first explanation of Rashi, there's mustard that you're putting in the strainer to strain it. The koletas is apsolas, and the junk stays up on top. And you're going to put the egg in there with the mustard seeds, and the yellow part of the egg is going to go down. And it colors the chardal. And the white part of the egg, that's going to stay up on top. Rabbeinu Halevi says that what you're actually doing is you're straining the egg into something that you're cooking. There's no mustard over here. And the reason we're allowing it in a mustard strainer is dafkin a mustard strainer, misham shinoi, because it's a shinoi. It's going to go into the plate, which is a klisheni, it helps to color the tavshil. So there's two explanations exactly what you're straining. But in any case, you're allowed to put this beitza b'mesanena shel chardal. And the Gemara says, Amar Zeiri says, No sein Adam yayin solu lumayim slulun l'socha meshameres b'Shabbos ve'eno choshesh. According to Zeiri, a person can take clear wine or clear water and put it into a strainer on Shabbos. You don't have to worry. The idea is, since you would drink it anyway, it's basically strained, it's clear. The fact that you're running it through a strainer is not helping at all, so it's mutter on Shabbos. Aval achurin lo, but if it's dirty, that's a problem. Meisvei Rabbi Shimon Gamliel Lomer, they ask from a brayser. Rabbi Shimon Gamliel says, Tored Adam Chavesh al Yayin Yeino Ushmorev and Nosen L'Socha Meshameres b'Shabbos. You could take a barrel of wine and put it right through in a strainer, even if it has sediment. V'Yeino Choshesh, it's not a problem. Clearly, much more lenient. Even if it's not clear, it's allowed. Tirgam Zeiri, so Zeiri answered that brayser Bein Hagitos Shanu. That's talking about if you're doing it in the area where you're actually creating the wine. Rashi here explains, Ben Agitos Shanu, it's talking about it at the wine press. Shakol Hayenos Achurn. That's where all the wine is dirty. V'shosano Sam Bishmira, and people actually by the wine press, they'll drink the wine straight with the sediment. Hilkach Ein Kantikun Devalav Hachi Mishtasi. Therefore, it's very similar to the case of clear wine. In this case, it's dirty wine, but people drink it anyway, so you're really not fixing it. When you're by the wine press, that's what people normally drink anyhow. Gemara continues at the two dots. Mesanin asayayin b'sudron. You're allowed to strain the wine with garments. Amar Rav Simi Bar Chia. Rav Simi Bar Chia says, "Uvelvad shelo yasa guma." Don't make a cavity in the garment when you're straining. Why not? Rashi says, "Shelo yasa guma min asuder befi hakli." You're putting this garment over the kli. Don't make a cavity. Ki uvda dechol. That looks like the way you're doing it in a weekday fashion, so it's an isur d'Rabbanan. Rashi says a second explanation: Inami asili de schita. Or the other problem with putting the garment on in this fashion is we're afraid you're going to end up squeezing the wine out of the garment. It's going to be a problem of schita, which is a tolda of dash. And the Gemara continues at the two dots of chfifa mitzris in a wicker basket. Amar Rav Chia Barashi Amar Rav. Rav Chia Barashi says in the name of Rav, Uvevad shelo yagbia mikarkaaso shel kli tefach. Just make sure you don't put the basket more than a tefach or more over the kli which it's dripping into. And Rashi says that the problem, if it's more than a tefach over the kli, it's going to be a problem of ohel. Amar Rav. Rav says, Hai prunka apalge de kuva shari akule kuva asa. Rashi explains, Prunka beged sheshotchen al gigis yayin lechasosa. This is a beged, a garment which they put over the barrel of wine to cover it up. Apalga de kuva shari delav ohalahave. It's not an oil if it's only covering half of the barrel, but if it's covering the entire barrel, then again it's a problem of oil. So this is really a second case, which is a problem of oil according to Rashi. Amar Rapapa says, Lo nahadik inish tzinaisa bepume de kuzni de chavisa misham de mirzi kemeshameres. Rashi explains, Lo nahadik inish tzinaisa bepuma de kuzni de chavisa. Kli cheres cotton. This was a small clay vessel, shamarin bo yayin michavis, which they poured wine from the barrel into it. Lo yitin befiv kashin uksamim bechazaka. Don't put in there twigs and other pieces of wood. That's basically a strainer. What they would do is you're pouring the barrel into this small kli, and if on the top of the kli you're putting a bunch of wood chips and other twigs and things like that, you're basically straining the wine. So he says you can't do that. That's exactly what a strainer is, and it's going to be a problem if you do that on Shabbos. The Gemara continues, Devei Rav Papa shafu shichra mimana lamana. In the house of Rav Papa, they used to pour beer from one kli to the other, and it was also a way of separating the sediment, of having only the clear part of the beer. So Amar le Rav Achami Difti le Ravina. So Rav Achami Difti said to Ravina, how is this allowed? Ha'ike nitzotzas. At the bottom you have these drops of beer, and clearly at the end, as you're pouring at the end, you're intentionally leaving the sediment and putting in the beer. So the Gemara says, no, they didn't do that. Nitzotzas levei Rav Papa lo chashivi. Those drops at the end, they were not chashiv. Rav Papa, he was a chenvani. He brewed beer for a living, and therefore he didn't care about a little amount at the end, so he'd just throw away the whole thing at the end. So therefore, it really was not michzi kaborer at all. It was not nicker that it's borer. On the contrary, it was nicker that it's not real borer, and therefore Rashi says it's not a problem. The Mishnah then said, "V'nosin beitza b'misanenes." You can put the egg in the strainer. Tani Rabbi Karcha, Tani Yaakov Karcha taught, and we'll continue with this discussion in the next video on Daf Kuf Mem Amud Aleph.